following public service announcement is being brought to you part by the good folks that support the dope. It's told by D2G and Red Young. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's on with something like a phenomenon. It's food for thought for those starving through Ramadan. Nothing less than the best, that's what you rockin' with. So take notes on this newness, cause you'll be jocking in. Precious of the bunch, plenty game that we put you on. Fashion, music, we give it to the goodest gone. Keeping up with the time, so you'll be in the know. Nothing but exclusives, heads up on who's next to blow. It's only dopeness we give to the masses. The promise guaranteed, ain't no pushing the whackness. So say your theatrics for plays if you've been a hater. Just the lovely Carly Brown's your facilitator. Lead the water when we bring that fire. Here's the industry biz #1 supplier. Boy, them other stations don't want no smoke. Keep your ears tuned in and support the dope. Yeah, looking at my clock and it's about that time. 7:30 Central when we hit online. And we coming to you live from the ghost. So tell your people settle in and support the dope. Yeah, looking at my clock and it's about that time. 7:30 Central when we hit online. And we coming to you live from the ghost. So tell your people settle in and support the dope for sure.
You are now tuned in to Support the Dope Radio, which was designed to give a platform to the best, most talented, and dopest artists in the city of Chicago and equip them with the power to tell their own story in their own words. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, and you are listening to the very first episode of Season 2. Yay! And because it is February 7th, I would be remiss if I did not say happy birthday to my fellow Aquarian, the late, great super producer, Jay Dilla. And if you aren't familiar with who he was, please Google him. I'm certain you know many of the songs he produced, and many of those songs are probably favorites of yours. So, rest in beats, Dilla. And with that being said, I'm your host, your girl CB, and I want to give a very sincere thank you to those of you who tuned in for the first time, and a warm welcome back to the listeners who joined me in Season 1. I hope you missed your girl, because I missed you too, and I'm ready to have some fun. So just like Season 1, I have a super dope roster of some amazing artists lined up for you all. In addition to tonight's guest, over the course of the season, I'll also be talking with Phenom, Jay Illa, Harold Green, D. Lyles, Megan McNeil, Marcus Kinsey, and Dante Hall. And man, when I tell y'all I am so excited, please believe it. But as for tonight, I am equally excited to have tonight's special guest on the show. He is a good friend of mine, and I am absolutely a super fan of his. Born on the west side of Chicago, this singer-songwriter-musician is a self-professed child of the neo-soul movement and describes his music as a cohesive blend of soul, jazz, funk, and hip-hop, or in other words, modern soul. Now, his mama named him Deron Linnell James Jr., okay, I call him his soul brother #1, but he is known to music lovers all over the city as Erthe St. James.
Yeah. Hey, CB, what's going on?
Hey, brother Erthe. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being my guest tonight. How have you been?
I'm good. Busy, but I'm good. It feels good to be busy. It feels good to, just be in the arts all the time, moving, So, but I feel good.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
How you feeling?
I feel good. Thank you. I was excited to celebrate her birthday on Saturday. I'm officially old. I'm just joking. I'm no spring chicken, but I'm not old either. So I'm just getting better with time. It was great to celebrate that. For those of you who don't know, I've relocated to Atlanta, at least temporarily. We don't know. We'll see what God has in store. It's my goal to come back to Chicago because I miss you guys. But for now, we have Support the Dope Radio, to connect me with all of you. And, I still have the desire to give you guys that platform. So we can at least have this, if nothing else, in the meantime. So I've been doing really well. But I must preface this interview with the fact that Erthe has asked that this interview be raw and uncensored, and he has said that he has a lot to say. So, if you are listening with the kiddos, don't.
well, not like that. Just in the term of, I didn't want caller to give me the questions. I didn't want to know what she was going to ask me, because I didn't want it to seem like it was rehearsed or something that I wrote up. I really just wanted to speak from the heart and be honest about, just my truth and the music and who I am as a person. So, like that. So I'm not going to be like vulgar or anything, but I just want to be open and free,
Right. And if any of you guys, I know a lot of you guys are probably listening on supportthedope.com, but if you are listening via Spreaker, or I think you can do it on Spreaker.com as well, there is a chat feature. If you guys are interested in sending us some messages via the chat feature, I will be checking that periodically as well to see if you guys have any messages for Erthe or any questions for Erthe. Feel free to do that there. So if you're on Support the Dope and you realize you want to, talk to us, hop on over to Spreaker. You can download the free app, or you can go to Spreaker.com and search for Support the Dope Radio. So, without further ado, let's get into the interview. So let's start. I know I kind of gave a brief little rundown in my intro, because this is like my third time interviewing Erthe, I believe, right? Third time is a charm.
Yeah. This is the third time, yeah.
I feel good about number 3. How about you?
All right.
So,
like you said,
yeah,
magic number.
Yeah. So let's have you, because I do like to give artists the opportunity to, tell their stories in their own words, like I say in the beginning. So how would you describe yourself? Who is Erthe St. James as an artist? Just like in a little nugget.
Man, Erthe St. James is a child of the neo soul movement.
Mm-hmm.
That was my era. Like I grew up in the era of Badu, and when Badu just came out, and D'Angelo had just came out, and Jill shortly after that, and Music Soul Child, and Angie Stone had just came back. So it was, like that was my era. I was 8 in 1997, and when D'Angelo came out, I was 6. But I remember that yesterday. I remember my aunt playing that D'Angelo album over and over again. I remember when my dad got out of jail. He got paralyzed. He got shot, and when he was healing in the hospital, he had Erykah Badu's last album, and I would play that over and over again. And then after that, NDRE came along, and I started playing guitar because of her. I was really inspired by that. So like I'm just a child of the neo soul movement, and it's just evolved. It's around in the song where it says, "I'm just a child of the neo soul that got grown." Now everybody be on the shit I've been on. Everybody, not everybody on the soul tip, but I've been on that. But it just starts there. The music starts in that sub genre of soul, and then is graduated to just a mix of everything. I'm inspired by jazz. I'm a big jazz head, big band jazz, avant-garde jazz. Of course, funk. Like the music is. I'm hearing it become more funky. So I guess that's how you would describe it. Just a mix of everything I love. I love the Spice Girls. Grew up on them. So I add just a mix of everything.
Who was your favorite Spice Girl? Who was your favorite?
My favorite was Scary. Of course, Scary. You got to
okay.
Go with that. You got to go. No, but even outside of that, like Scary was just, she was just, I think, the prettiest, the wildest. I don't know. She just had that funk about it. She was captivating to me. At just around the same time, I was like 8. So I guess that's my music mind was being molded around that time.
How do you feel about, because I feel like the neo soul movement was kind of like a really great moment in music, especially for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I know that some artists kind of, PJ Morton specifically actually told me this, because I was using a hashtag as I was doing some promotions for him, as neo soul, and he said that, he's like, it's just soul. He never really liked, adding the neo in front of the soul, because, kind of any time a new generation comes along, you can call it new, but it's really still soul. Like, do you feel like that is there are some similarities to like soul, like in general, or is that specifically there's something specific about that time and that era and those artists to be able to give it the title neo soul?
I mean, I think that it really was something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that was, I mean, of course, I mean, the 70s, you had all of that. That's where the neo soul derived from the 70s funk and soul. But I mean, that was something that you hadn't heard mainstream like that. Like, I know, I mean, yeah, you had Tony Tone. I mean, they were kind of in that vein before D'Angelo, but I had never heard anything like that until D'Angelo came along.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I had never heard anything that smooth, that groove. Like, it wasn't, you know, the traditional R&B, but it wasn't, you know, like super old. So like, I don't know, like it had like that hip hop element into it, and it, you know, so like I honestly I don't mind the term neo soul. I don't want to maybe call it neo soul artist, but if somebody was to say, hey, you say neo soul, that's the best way that some people know how to describe it. Because I can say soul all day long, you know what I mean? But if I say neo soul, they're like, oh, I get it. I understand the difference. You know,
yeah, that's a specific
you know
era. I gotcha.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. You know, I know a lot of artists. They say, well, I don't like the term neo soul. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with it. It was a beautiful era. It was a beautiful thing. It was beautiful people. It was beautiful pioneers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why we don't want to embrace where we come from. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I gotcha.
Yeah. So like I don't mind it. But I do think that we need to you know, just pay homage to that, because that has birthed a lot of people. Like a lot of people my age are, especially my artist friends. You know what I mean? That's what we grew up on. You know what I mean? So we have to make sure that we pay homage to that.
So we hear like a lot of influences from Erykah Badu in your music, and I know you went to college in Grambling, Louisiana.
Yeah.
What was, I believe you had an experience there with Erykah Badu.
Yeah. Shout out to GSU. Shout out to Grambling State University. Yeah, I in 08, I was a theater major, and every year we would go to Dallas for this acting convention, and we go down there every year. And the year of 08, we went down there, and I had just wrote Under My Bridge. I had just wrote Under My Bridge that I think January of 08. It had to be like January or like early February. I had just wrote Under My Bridge, so that was fresh. So I was performing that, and then I went down there and I did the like the talent night that they had during the competition. And somebody was like, man, you know, Erykah Badu's coming down here. She's doing a concert, because she's from Dallas. And we were at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and called T-Ball. And she grew up in that place. So she came down there and did a concert, and somebody said, hey, you should, you know, we're looking for opening acts to open for Erykah, you know. And it was like all just the college kids, you know, that opened for her. So I was chosen, and the song that they chose for this collective group, it had to be like 10 or 11 of us on stage. We all did Under My Bridge. Like that was the platform for the whole opening. So yes, I opened for her in Dallas, and you know, got a chance to sing to her. You know what I mean? Like she handed me the mic when she was on stage. So I'm singing to her, trying not to cry. But yeah, so that was life changing right there.
Yeah, that's dope.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to ask, because actually I haven't seen as much talk about it as I thought that I would, but BET just released their new series called The Quad. And I know that in times past, the discussion about whether or not an HBCU is necessary has kind of gotten some really heated debates on whether or not, you know, we should have those types of institutions, and whether or not they hold the same clout as, you know, like your Ivy League schools. Do you have an opinion on the HBCU as far as whether or not it's necessary, or what kind of experience that was for you?
Yeah. It's definitely necessary. It's definitely necessary. I grew up going to schools that were really mixed with everything. Like for elementary school, I went to Walt Disney, which is on the north side of Chicago, and it was just a culture of everything. You know what I mean? We had blacks, we had whites, we had Hispanics, we had Middle Easterners. We had everything. Africans. We had everything in the school. And then when I went to high school, Same thing. I went to Sin High School. Same thing. It was everything. So for me,